Hey guys, welcome back, Multiplayer here, and I'm with another discussion video. Now, I rarely do discussion videos, or I haven't done one in a while, and today I'm going to be talking about the state of Overwatch, as a lot of people are talking about that, like Seagull, XQC, Sure4, all of them, and I would say the state of the game isn't all that good, because we have so much crowd control in the game that they're going to be reverting. Look at Doomfist and Brig. Shield Bash does less, and Doomfist they're just flat out nerfing. Now, they did state in the forum post that there is going to be a lot of crowd control changes overall, and I cannot wait to see what those are, because a lot of the crowd control heroes I can think of is Moira, Hamster, and that's pretty much all, because the only one out of all the crowd control heroes that's pretty balanced has to be McCree, because flashbang, small radius, cool, and it also just is safer than anything because it's more of a zoning ability, because flashbang is a overall balanced ability. And to be honest, for this whole video, it's just going to be me talking my off the top of my head and all that stuff. So, for crowd control overall, it is very heavy, and zoning ults and all that. It's pretty interesting because you have ults that help and ults that don't do anything at all. And those ults that don't do anything at all is Widowmakers. Sure, if there's two Widowmakers, it does something, but it's just Widowmakers, McCrees, soldiers. I would have to say Torb, kind of. Mercy's ult is meh nowadays because the 50 damage, actually the 50 what's the word, healing normally, and 60 and all they could do to Mercy is bring back the 60 and make it costs more to cast the ult. As in the Overwatch League, you have about, I don't know, 25 ults for 10 minutes, and that is so much. As 25 ults in 10 minutes, that changes the course of the game a lot overall. And then we have other things like this hero is unbalanced like Doomfist, but they're correcting that. Brig's kind of unbalanced, but they're correcting it. Mercy is the only hero that is underperforming as a healer, as we've all seen what happened with that. They nerfed her into the ground too much, and to be honest, I could see them actually buffing Mercy more in the next patches. Other heroes I think I would like to see buffed. Of course, Bastion's getting that buff. I would like to see McCree get a slight buff as he's getting Fan the Hammer, but I would like to see a little more damage on his primary fire or less fall off damage. But don't put it back to what it was like in Season 1, and I don't know why I Fan the Hammer there. I think I misclicked on accident. Then we have other things kind of like Junkrat. He does too much damage if you just have him against goat comps, because it just shreds everything. He does too much. His shift ability is zoning, his tire is zoning, and his tire is a little bit bugged with how much damage it does depending on the range of all of it. Then we have things like Tracer. To be honest, I think she needs a buff overall, because she's one of the heroes that got a nerf just to her pulse bomb, but I see her getting a bit more back in a few. And then we have Moira. Moira is overly balanced. She is actually one of the most balanced support players that there is. And to be honest, with the amount of time I've played her, I really do have to appreciate how much they've done with her as a whole as a hero, because the only thing that they removed was her bug with healing through shields. Now, I liked it when she could heal through the shields because it gave more versatility when healing. Instead, she doesn't have to play the berry game along with like Winston and Reinhardt, as there's just a lot. There's just quite a bit of shields. Look at Brig, Winston, Orisa, and Ryan. That's 4 shields, and Hero 30 is going to be another tank, a main tank, because that's what was told to me by one of my friends that knows a little bit. As 31 is already playable and all that jazz. And then you have Hero. Well, 30 and 31 are both playable at this point. Because 31 is going to be Echo, and 30 is going to be, believe it or not, a tank. Because we do need more tanks. As last tank kind of didn't do anything for a bit because people didn't know how to play them. And then he became a main off tank, as you can run triple tank dive or goats with him, which is Hamster, and which I found a few things as well with Hamster. Sombra and Hamster have a voice line saying, "I liked my stuffed teddy bear Polito. I liked him better." That was Sombra to Hamster because I was playing a game as Sombra. But overall, Overwatch right now, it just needs less crowd control and more anti-crowd control, which brings them in, like Orisa's ult. Actually, Orisa's ability brings them in, as it's unique. We don't have that many abilities that bring in. Like grab, they grab did get nerfed, but that's an anti-crowd control. It sucks them in, and I'm trying to think of any other ability in the game that just sucks them in, because there's not really that many off the top of my head. We have who was it? We have Ash. Bob is an additional hero to the team. You have 7 heroes. This is the first time when you have 7 actual heroes on a team. And then we have other heroes like Widow. She doesn't really do much. Venomine is not that good because it's easy to spot, and it just takes one hit just to finish it. And then you have things like Genji's ult, pretty decent under the right circumstances. But overall, the heroes that need to be changed, in my opinion, which most of them are Brig, Doom, Bastion, McCree. Trying to think of who the other one is, or other couples. I would like to see another Pharah buff, because she has so many counters right now, being Ashe, Widowmaker, Soldier, Diva, McCree, Hanzo, if you can land the arrows. But that's like a eighth of the cast that counters Pharah. Even Mercy can counter Pharah if you know how to lead your shots. And then you have things like Brig countering full counter Tracer, but that's changing soon. Another hero I'd like to see changed is Hog, because his hook is very favor the shooter, as that is one thing that needs to be removed from the game. Favorite of the Shooter has been in this game for a little over 3 years, if you count beta as as a way of playing. Since that's all done and over, I wish we could just go back to the beta client sometimes and just play with those heroes. The original 21, as back then, the 21 heroes pretty balanced. Like, the beta build is before when it went live. I would like to see that again. I want to play the game when it first started, because when it first started, there was no Ana, there was no Brig, there was no Moira, no Ashe, and not a lot. Not a like it was a and Sim was a support. And to be honest, a lot of things changed in those 2-3 years as we've seen from what it was to what it is now. Overwatch League, they're gonna have their own meta, which is pretty nice. And then we have things like Overwatch Contenders, Tier 2, not the best, because they don't really support Tier 2 and Tier 3 teams. I would like to see Tier 2 and 3 teams be shown more. I know Contenders, they are doing stuff now for it. Well, they do show it, but it doesn't really do anything good for them, because they're not on like a stage on the same ping, because it's this different ping, and if you lose that ping game, it's definitely harmful for your team. As sure, you have your team houses, but that's where you play the other team from. Or even if you look at Core and Blase, they played in their own rooms at their own houses, and that is different ping for everyone. And to be honest, they need to support Tier 2s and 3s more than anything. Since if they don't do everything right, that is a RIP to that. As we've seen a lot of Overwatch League players just stop playing the past few... over the past year. Like, XQC was banned, Seagull quit or is done because he wants to stream. Off season, that's what you do. You just stream. And sure, it's something, but it's not going to last until season 2 or 3. And then you have things where it's just unbalanced, like the Widow 1v1s. If you miss that shot and they land the shot on you, it's most likely over, because that's a lot of leeway for the enemy to get, that you give up and they could just push, because you're down one, the one essential piece of a puzzle. Because it's like you have Widow 1v1 is very harsh, and then you have other things like, oh, goat comp versus goat comp. There's another version of goat comp that counters that, and then there's another one that counters that. Seagull explained it way better in his video, because he sat down and wrote out everything and wrote down his notes, while I'm going no notes at all. And to be honest, what I see happening with Overwatch, people are gonna just, until it starts getting balanced in comp, people are gonna be like, is it really worth playing comp or not? Also, sorry for the bad aim on this. I just now noticed how bad it was. But it's like, do you do this or do you not? Is the question. Do you continue, or do you just stop playing from what, because you started from something. You started from scratch, like I have. And then you have things like, oh, I am gonna do this because I really want to stream, but I can't because I'm at a ping disadvantage via bad internet. As if you have bad internet, it's kind of just not fair in a way. Overall, as ping is the most important thing of this game. If you lose out on the ping fight, you're just done. Which leads me to favor the shooter, because over the 3 years, favorite shooter has been in the game. Widow 1v1s is pretty much favorite shooter. And to be honest, at this point, I think if two Widows shoot at the exact same time, they both should kill themselves, so it becomes a 5v5, not a 5v6. That's the exact same thing with what's going on with the hog hook, because it's a line of sight favor the shooter. It's just not fair overall. As I've been hooked through corners, I have been hooked through floors and ceilings because of the hook. And another hero that I definitely think that they should just look at again is Hog, because he's unbalanced if you know how to play right and use the hooks properly. As if you hook someone through a corner, they will start to get tilted. Or through a floor, they will get tilted. And tilt isn't that good because, like, if someone gets tilted, that could spread to the other teammates. If you ask someone to swap off of a certain hero because they're being hard countered by the enemy, they start getting mad at you because it's like they want to play what they want to play. They know it can work, but it's just like you ask them to swap nicely, they say no, and they don't help out the team. But then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, okay. So that happened because they start getting tilted. Then they go to another team member and they start yelling at them, and so on and so forth. I've seen this happen as I've gone through the ranks from silver all the way up to GM. I wouldn't really have to say that I've never seen toxicity. I've seen toxicity all over the place because of a lot of situations that we were in, like Tracer One tricks. Sure, they were great, but a few months ago that would have been amazing. But now it's like Brig counters it, just hard counters. And I'm just going all over the place with this video. Sorry, but it's like hard counters. Favor the shooter. Favor the shooters need to go. Hog needs to get looked at again. And just a lot of other things just need to change. Because if they keep going in the direction of crowd control abilities, which most likely they won't, because of what they said with the Doomfist changes, as they're looking into all the CC abilities, and they're going to be changing it, which is great, or trying to fix it. But anyways, this was my rant about my thoughts on Overwatch as a whole right now, as times have changed for this game, and hopefully soon, after like December, it changes, because we have a lot of buffs, we have a lot of nerfs coming in that will help the game and all that stuff. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, I don't think you would, please hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, please subscribe, as I make content every day. Whenever there's not news going on, I tend to make videos like this where it's just me talking or just I would have to say something like play the game montages like I've been doing. And sorry about all the Ash plays, but that's all I've pretty much been playing in quick play. But anyways, see you guys. I've been Bolt Spider. See you guys in the next video, and goodbye.